Hello, everybody. It is Rachel Donnelly from Black Dress Consultants, as well as After Loss, the professionals of After Loss Services. And I am about to invite my friend and co-founder, fellow co-founder, Molly Locker, to invite us and be coming up here in a minute, and we're going to get started. We're so glad that you're here at our official first Instagram Live. There she is.
Hey, hey.
Hello. I was just telling everybody we're so happy to be doing our first ever Instagram Live here. And we're coming to you live from the ATL and from the
Nashville, even complete with my pumpkin cold brew.
Oh my gosh, has
I'm
pumpkin
ready to
stuff
embrace
come
it.
out yet?
I'm ready to embrace it, yes. And I already jumped on it. It's, going to be 85 degrees here, but whatever.
Oh my, hey, listen, whenever pumpkin stuff comes out, I am just so super excited. So, okay, enough about pumpkin stuff.
Yeah.
We're so excited to be here today for our first, like I said, Professionals of After Loss Services, aka PALS, Instagram Live. And we just wanted to use today to just say, hey, and we're here to everybody out there, and to just tell you more about the mystery around what is an after loss professional. So let's jump right in. So I'll just get started and say, when I found Molly, it was like finding my long lost twin. I had started my company, Black Dress Consultants, about 2.5 years ago, and with the goal of helping families manage the unavoidable logistics and tasks of after loss. It was a gap in the market that I really felt was out there, and after my experiences with loss and having to manage several estates, and an aging loved one, I really thought, why isn't there someone out here who can help me manage all these logistics? We have project managers and assistants for all these different life milestones, but not for when you lose a loved one. So I thought, well, heck, I'm going to create it. So when I found Molly, I think I found you first, and then we found our other co-founder, Esther Pipoli of Loss of Life Advocates in San Antonio. And then we found Jasmine Hathaway of Compass Coordinators in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was like the stars had aligned. And our first real question or goal when we came together, what we all had the common ground of the struggle was what to call ourselves. And I think one day it just came to us, okay, we're after loss professionals. So tell me, Molly, tell me about how that sounded to you when we first came up with that.
Yeah, I think that it was the same story, different people. We all were struggling with, we feel like there's a need. So when somebody dies, all of a sudden, this family that has survived, a loss of someone that was very dear to them has to do a myriad of phone calls. I experienced this when I watched my father pass away and my brother was the executor. And then also when my husband's brother, so my brother-in-law, passed away at 42. All of a sudden, his widow, who's got a young child, is supposed to be making all of these phone calls to the bank, to Social Security, to set up survivor benefits, to call his dentist and say he's not coming. And I thought that feels cruel. That feels It is because you're in no headspace to want to do that.
No.
And to make these phone calls and to have to say maybe over and over again, my husband passed away and this is why I need to make this phone call and cancel this account or whatever. So
it's like you needed a tape recorder to hold up to the phone and insert X name is dead. We need your help, X, Y, and Z.
Yes. And so I felt like it was almost when I was trying to describe what I was doing, it was like, okay, here's me. Here's what an estate attorney does. And of course, it's like most people don't really know how all these different parties intersect in terms of, well, then if you're trying to help people who have lost somebody, isn't that what an estate attorney does? Or
Yeah.
isn't that what the financial attorney does? Or
Yeah.
a financial advisor? Or isn't it the funeral home director's role?
Yeah.
And really, there's so many misconceptions because the broad swath of tasks are not handled by anyone other than family members. I mean, you have estate attorneys that have their very specific roles when it comes to larger estates and probate and whatnot. And then there's financial advisors that are helping with the investments and financial accounts sometimes. And
Yeah.
then, funeral directors really hand you a checklist a lot of times. I mean, their role is very limited and they don't come alongside
Yeah.
and help you. So then it was like,
No.
okay, we are in this space where there's really no one grabbing all these other things. And so that's why
Exactly.
after loss felt right to call us, because it felt like we are kind of the catch-all for all these other things that follow after a loss. And so
Yes.
that's, I think, the best way to describe us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I would go to a cocktail reception or, see a mom on the soccer field and they're like, so what do you do? And I was like, I didn't want to say I was a death consultant or an end of life project manager, which that can describe it, but that's not really encompassing, exactly, what we do. And I experienced a lot of the same things. My dad died when I was 16. My mom died about 10 years ago. I had two small children. I had to take over the care of my uncle who lived in a different state. And I was trying to work full time, raise kids, do the laundry, and then have to call all of these people and say the same thing over again. And, I didn't find out till later, how much time they quantify, like the average they say is 420 to 570 hours. I think that grossly underestimates
Oh,
sometimes
absolutely.
how much time it takes to just wrap up all of these affairs. And each custodian, each bank, each financial institution, fill in the blank, has a different procedure, a different protocol, a different form.
Yes.
And you shouldn't have to be an expert at this.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't be an expert at loss, is what I
No,
say. Or
no,
hopefully
exactly.
you are not, because
Yeah,
that is a hard life if that's been your experience over and over again.
yeah,
And so Rachel and I, and actually all of our PALS co-founders, each have very similar businesses. I mean, we are very much all after loss professionals, but we actually do things slightly different
right,
in how we walk a client through an engagement and maybe even what we will handle for our clients,
right. And the
which
time frame, and yeah,
exactly
yeah,
how
yeah,
when we get engaged and everything. And I think that's just a personal preference, and that's certainly a personal preference any after loss professional could choose, because there's certain areas that our other founder, Esther Pipoli, is a lot more comfortable in than
right,
potentially others. And so that is a great example of like when you want to get engaged in a client's life and how soon after a loss, and then how far you would like to take this. So for instance, I mean, I think Rachel and I both help with estate planning and organization in some form or fashion. Not to be
right,
confused with the legal side of estate planning, but
right.
just getting all of your important, I think you call it legacy planning, Rachel. And I
Yes,
help kind of get
yeah.
all of that life information organized as well. And so it's things like
Mm-hmm.
that that we share a similarity in. But then there's also things like I actually serve as executor for families that need to legally name someone. And that's a little different than what you do and what
Correct.
other
Yeah,
founders do.
yeah, yeah.
So it just
Absolutely.
depends, I think, on what your comfort level is, because we are kind of all different. What else did I miss about like how
Yeah,
we're a
I
little bit different
mean,
in what we do?
our co-founder, Esther, she does a lot of more time of death, associated projects. She'll help, if you have someone needs a will or some legal forms notarized at a deathbed, she will come and do that. And she's also has a lot of training in grief and grief support, so can lend a different hand around those types of needs. And then our co-founder Jasmine, she does also paperwork around divorce.
Divorce. I
That
totally
is
forgot to mention that.
that's a
Yes.
loss. Absolutely. So she's taken all of her expertise and skills and sort of parlay that into helping clients with also divorce. Um, and then I help clients. I sort of market my services as after loss concierge and sort of the full soup to nuts of what you need and come up with a plan. And you and I will both help if a client needs clean out a house to prep an estate-owned property to be sold. We can help step in and manage all of those logistics. Whereas Jasmine, that's not necessarily her preference or one of the things that she offers a lot. But that's what I think is so great about doing this is you can really take your skill sets, what you love doing, and customize it to best serve your community, your clients, and really the needs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think it really is. It's like such a fulfilling career because I think we're naturally helpers. I mean, we are helping families in a really dark time
yeah,
for them.
absolutely.
But then, what I love most about the job is not exactly what Rachel loves most about the job or Jasmine, our other
Yes.
co-founder, or Esther. It really is amazing how we have fallen into this niche service offering, but find different ways and different things that we love most about it. I personally love the problem solving.
Yeah.
I love going to bat for my clients against these big financial organizations that will not give a check over to the
Oh my God.
family that rightfully deserves money. It really is. It feels like such a purpose driven activity to just advocate for your client and make sure that
Yeah.
they get what they're owed, and so I just think it is really cool that I think the after loss space allows you to kind of explore these different areas that you feel so really passionately about.
Absolutely. And I love that problem solving, but also really digging in and being resourceful and maybe figuring out a different strategy that someone may not have thought about it before. But I also love calling a bank and yelling at them to make something happen
in a kind way, obviously.
in a
But
kind
yes,
way.
totally. Yeah.
But I think one of the things I love the most is help giving my clients the space to grieve.
Yes.
So that is not a luxury that I was afforded, and I think that is the commonality that really brings this profession, this niche, to light. Is that families, lost loved ones or their lost loved ones, you deserve the space to grieve.
Yes. And not deal with all these things.
And when I try to simplify what I do, is I say I prevent dumpster fires by helping people to get them more organized on the front end, or I help manage dumpster fires.
That's so good. Wow, that resonates because it really is both either or, really.
Yeah.
Majority of the time. Okay, so let's talk about then PALS, why we created it. I mean, we kind of touched on it already.
Yeah.
We've got a few minutes left. It's like, okay, so Rachel kind of mentioned why we came together, and I think the main reason was, gosh, you need support and help in this space.
Yeah.
So Rachel found me, and then Jasmine, Esther, we had all kind of connected at different points, but then coming together, it was huge because we started to realize, oh, we're all dealing with very similar problems and we can really support each other. I feel like what started as like organically meeting started to become like a necessary part of our routine of just like, wow, this week has really been hard for X, Y, and Z. And I think that's like such an important space to have when you're dealing with people's really hard, potentially really traumatic losses.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just became also a sharing best practices. us
Mm-hmm.
really saying, hey, have you dealt with a client on this? And how did you tackle that? And just really trying to elevate ourselves and, sort of define not only our niche, but the best way to go about serving our clients. And that sort of
Mm-hmm.
started happening very organically. And then we started getting a lot of networking with sort of external companies and organizations. And I mean, I think I forgot to say, you and I both experienced this. Jasmine and Esther did as well. If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me this is the best idea ever, why hasn't somebody done this? I
Right.
mean, you and I would both be multimillionaires.
Right.
But then we really wanted to get to the heart of, okay, why isn't this a thing? So
Right.
we really wanted to turn that upside down and say, okay,
Right.
what is at the heart of that?
Well, because I think we all individually realized that, again, having to restart over and over again, what exactly do you do? And how are you different from estate attorneys? And how are you different from financial advisors? That carving out that space and that communication of what is the common terminology we even use,
Yeah.
and how do we quickly get to the heart of what we do so we can communicate it out to our individual
Yes.
communities. We need more people in this space, and there's such an interest and need in this space that it became critical almost to say, let's come together and all agree on first of all, what are we calling ourselves?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
what do we do for people, and how do we make it easier for other people to get into this space?
Yes.
Because yes, it was, I mean, brutal, truly
Yeah.
brutal for all of us, because I mean, we're just trying to even communicate not only what do we do, but how do we get properly insured, because we don't actually fall into one of those very critical
I mean,
categories.
for when I tried to get professional liability insurance, they were like, "Now, honey, what are you doing? Are you?" They actually asked me if I was picking out burial plots for people, and I was like, "Oh
No,
Lord,
I
no."
know, I know, and that is what is time that just took away from us being able to grow this business, was even just trying to establish this business. And I think
Yeah.
that's why the PALS training program that we are launching on October 1st is so critical for
Yeah.
anyone getting into this space, because we are essentially brain dumping everything that we all four have collectively learned.
Yeah.
And I think it's like 20 years cumulatively of
Yes.
being in this after loss space,
Right.
that you don't have to do. You don't have to go out and research. You don't have to go out and find or waste your time with a bunch of conversations with a bunch of people that may not actually give you the answers you need. We
Yes.
have put it all in there for you, from how to start it to how to do it to how to wrap it up.
Yep, and how to market yourselves, how to network,
Yes.
how to put yourself out there. I like to say how to turn on your Krispy Kreme hot sign, which I know everybody loves, but you got to figure out where to turn on that hot sign. But we have literally taken our blood, sweat, and tears, and we have culminated a real one-of-a-kind, innovative training program. And I think now is the time. I think that we are at a very interesting time in our communities, that we're living longer. We have more stuff, and sort of the baby boomers, as they're aging out, and have so much stuff. The greatest transfer of wealth is on the horizon. We're living further from families. We're not in these centralized towns. So this is really creating a perfect opportunity for the need for more and more after loss professionals.
Yes, totally. And I think that is, again, like why we felt so this calling of starting this program and starting to formalize what we do, because obviously we could have just stayed in our little cocoon of us four and just kept sharing practices, but we kept getting questions of, okay, wait, how did you do that? Can you help me start this up? Or
yes,
can you just give me some quick answers? And it was very piecemealed, and it didn't feel
yes,
right for how you actually would do it in the right and best
yes,
way. And
yeah,
so we just kept thinking, let's do this. Let's formalize this. Let's get this together. And then after that, how do we create a community where we can, from a larger scale, start to share best practices about how do you deal with a particular organization, or hey, like Do you have a contact at this organization that
Yes.
actually will respond to your emails? Because that is critical to have and
Yes.
super helpful for
It is. Yeah.
for fast tracking things. It'll go unnamed, but there was a particular bank that was ghosting me completely for a client's check that he was due from his
The
deceased
bank
wife,
that shall go nameless. Yeah.
unnamed. And so, I mean, Rachel and I and Jasmine and Esther all chatted about like, how do we do this? And ultimately, I took it to LinkedIn and found people, real bodies that worked at this bank. And I now have about 3 emails of real individuals at this particular bank that I can reach out to say, hey, I'm dealing with this situation again. How do we get this expedited? How do we get this done for my client? Which is crucial. It really is. It's these little things that you as an after loss professional will take so much time on, and we are essentially going to shortcut that and give
We
you
are hitting the easy button. Yeah. Oh my God, we are hitting the easy button. Yeah.
Yes.
And we think it is so important for us to come together. Like I said, we could have stayed in our lanes, but that rising tides lifts all boats. And we really feel it is incumbent upon us to put our stake in the sand and say, we are after loss professionals. We are looking for anyone and everyone who wants to go set up shop, set up an additional service. If you're
That's
a senior move manager, if you're a professional organizer, if you work for a funeral home, we even have
death
doulas. We have paralegals or administrators in estate planning offices that they want to take this training. Financial advisors, like if you're a quiet quitter, if you were part of the Great Resignation, like this is open to anybody and everybody. If you've got a passion for this and you're ready to just start doing this, we're going to save you years of time, crying at your desk because you don't know how to do something, and really giving you the tools for you to set up shop and go out and make a difference in your community and serve families.
Yes, totally. I mean, I think that's an important point, is like that we are not creating this course just so people can have their own standalone after loss businesses that may not be of interest to you. And so, I think I even saw some comments in the chat of, I already kind of do this on the side. I'm a financial planner or a paralegal or a death doula. And so we're saying that is amazing. Yes. Let's formalize that and call it what it is, because a lot of people are doing this in the margins of their time. There are some amazing financial advisors that I've met out there who will say, oh, I do what you do. I just do it because I want to. And it's like a kind thing to do. I don't get paid for it. I kind of just cobble it together. And I'm thinking, that's amazing. That's unfortunately not everybody's experience. So let's make it a consistent feel. And, who knows, one day, let's dream the big dream. Maybe these organizations will actually all get to one platform, get to one form, get to one process that we all have to follow. If we all start to band together on this, I just think big things can happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody said that we were going to be the next AARP, and I'm like, bring it, let's do it. But that's the other thing, talking about not getting paid for it. That was, we will help in this training program. We address like pricing and different ways we've gone about that. Cause that was really like, we didn't even know where to start with that.
Right.
If anybody, go ahead.
Like, well, I was just going to say, pricing is a great example of, just because if you're in a new industry that doesn't even have a name, how do you even go about pricing yourself? Because you have no idea what your competitors are doing. There's no benchmarking. There's no competitors. You are alone in your boat. Where do you start? So yes, totally agree. But I think you were going to move us on to questions, Rachel.
I was going to say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, in the comment section, as we wait for any questions. Let's see. It's why I'm here. How can I help my firm better assist our clients with this very important need? So I guess that was why you're here. And yes, we will teach you all of the ins and outs of how to better assist families, and the protocols, the processes, the systems, all of those things.
Yes. Just so it's a consistent feel for your clients, because I think that's also important too, is everybody is so unique. Somebody once told me when I started my business, you'll work with one family and you'll have worked with one family, because nobody, no family, no person is exactly the same. And that has so rung true. But how do you still create a repeatable and consistent experience for your clients
Yes.
and for yourself? And we teach you
Yeah.
how to do that, which I think is invaluable
Yeah.
as well.
Absolutely. And the mistakes and the hiccups we've had along the way in getting that.
Yep.
And Life Legacy Doula says, I believe in a sliding scale. We've all taken
Mm-hmm.
on, in essence,
Oh,
pro bono,
so yeah.
Where I've charged people what a friends and family rate, or
Uh-huh.
a very, very low rate because they needed help so
Yep.
desperately.
Yeah, I started to formalize this too, because it did feel like it was, hard to kind of manage, like, okay, who's who. And so I started a side part of my business called Sunny Serves, where people can even nominate individuals to be my pro bono clients,
Oh,
which
I
I
love
think is
that.
cool, because then it's like there is no, uncomfortableness of, I don't want to, people always feel awkward about referring our services. It is something we constantly work
Oh
through.
my gosh,
And I
yeah.
think that it comes with spending money, even though you clearly spend money at a funeral home, and quite honestly, a lot of money, a lot of times. And what
Yeah.
we provide is very similar in value, very different looking on the outside. And so I think being able to get around that and to maybe nominate someone, especially if you're worried about them feeling like they can't afford a service
Yeah.
like us, then
Yeah.
nominating them for, because I do agree, like,
I love
everybody
that.
needs
I
this
didn't know
kind of
you
help.
did that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, I
And,
know. I know. We're all kind of in our own little.
and we all have organizations that helps, we feel aligned with the mission and purposes of our business that we help, support. Um, but yeah, we all do our best to help families
Mm-hmm.
as much as we can. Um, but we'd love, if you're here and you're interested, we'd love for you to head on over to afterlosspros.com
Yes.
and check out our more about our training program, which applications are now open.
Yes.
And spots are filling up fast.
Mm-hmm.
We have been so excited to see the applications come in, and then the fall cohort will start October 1st. It'll be a 6-week program filled with the curriculum that you can follow on your own pace, and as well as, in addition to, live training sessions. And we've got samples, we've got templates,
Scripts.
we've got scripts, case studies.
Oh, we have chocked it
Um,
full of freebies and all the goods that we all had to put our blood, sweat, and tears into creating, so that you don't have to.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, Rachel,
Yes.
we can't forget the mini course, though. The mini
Oh my
course
gosh.
is so
This is why
important.
you're here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, so okay. September 20th at 7 p.m., we are actually doing a free mini course for people who are like, I still don't fully understand what we're doing here, or like how to get this started, or what is the course even going to give me. So we're giving you a free mini course of how to become an after loss professional. It'll be awesome. It is definitely a teaser to what is the greater PALS training program, but I think it is still very meaty, very helpful content that you can't get anywhere else, because
it's called the proven roadmap to becoming an after loss professional. It is really the proven roadmap. We have really, shortened it down. Thank you, Life Legacy Doula. It is September 20th at 7 p.m.
Yes.
What would we do without you? You can sign up on that is Eastern Standard. So that will be 4 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific, 6
p.m. I was about to
Central,
say it's 6 p.m. Central. Yeah.
5 p.m. Mountain.
Yes.
4
yes.
p.m.
And I
Pacific.
So in the bio, you have like the link me, or the link tree that has all of these links, like how to sign up for the mini course, how to go see the training page, the PALS training course page. All of those things are kind of linked in there, so you can kind of go and see from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So you can either click on the link in bio, After Loss Pros, go to afterlosspros.com. Mm-hmm. You can download the brochure for the PALS training program, there's a link for you to sign up for the mini course. You can join our newsletter. You can send us email. You can do all sorts of things. So, yay, Maria's mom. We're so happy you
Yeah.
submitted your application. And yeah, what else can we cover? I think we've covered it all.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel spent. I feel like I've given everything.
Me too. Me too. But if you're like, we will be uploading this to our Instagram or our post. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But we will also be here next Wednesday at 4
with another
p.m.
co-founder.
With Jasmine and Esther. We will at 4 p.m. Eastern, right? 1 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
So that might be a little bit better I saw somebody was in the UK. So that might be a little bit earlier for you, or you're here now. So if you want to tell your friends, do all the things. So we are just, as you can tell, so excited, and that this is all finally, like, we have put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. So yeah. You know how to find us. Thank you, Molly, for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks.
And yeah, awesome sauce. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support, your continued support. I could have said this phase 1 of Professionals of After Loss Services PALS is getting more after loss professionals on the ground through our training program. Then we will have phase 2 will be a membership experience.
Continuing
platform.
Education. There's big things.
Yes, and then phase 3, business partners, we're going to be integrating them before that, but maybe conferences, continuing education, networking, all the things. So just join us along for the ride. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Molly. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Talk later.